There's something sacred about silence when it's earned, the kind that settles in after years of chaos, after too many goodbyes, too much noise, too many days where every sunrise feels like another tour. That's what I bought for myself when I walked off that last tarmac with a discharge in one hand and a set of blueprints in the other. 14 acres of jagged Colorado land out in Pine Creek County, where the wind's the only neighbor that doesn't ask for favors. And if you want to find a Starbucks, you better bring a bloodhound and a packed lunch. I tell people I didn't move out here to disappear. I moved out here so nobody could try to tell me who I was supposed to be. I spent 20 years building bases in places where people wanted me dead. Iraq, Afghanistan. If it exploded, I probably had to figure out how to keep it out of my barracks. So when I retired, the last thing I wanted was suburbia. Didn't want a cul-de-sac. Didn't want those little wine nights where everybody gossips about the new neighbor's trash bins or some dog's hair color. I wanted hard land, high rocks, and rough pines, a place where the only rules were written by me, and the only thing my mailbox matched was the damn mountain behind it. So I built my home myself, steel frame, concrete roots, hurricane glass, a roof that could take a bear hug from God. Solar panels, backup batteries, a diesel generator buried deep enough to survive a biblical flood. My own well, my own septic. Cameras on the corners, drones in the sky, and a half-mile gravel road with a keypad gate so tight no HOA would ever get their soft manicured fingers on my life. Off-grid hell, I wanted off-map. My parcel used to be part of a logging tract that got sliced and auctioned after the last company went under. I wound up just outside the border of a brand new gated neighborhood called North Hollow Estates. You know, the type every mailbox looks like it came off an Apple Store clearance rack, designer dogs that wouldn't last 5 minutes with a real coyote. They had brick driveways and trimmed lawns. I had mountain lions and barbed wire. At first, I barely even noticed them. Their roads didn't connect to mine. Their world stopped at a rusted cattle fence where the pines got thick. Then the letters started showing up. The first was on cream paper with a glossy seal, community integration, they called it. Some diplomatic nonsense about unified road maintenance, fire response, planning, aesthetic, zoning, integrity, like they were offering me a seat at the table, but the table was a cage. I tossed it on the burn pile. Didn't take long for a second letter to show up. This one had maps and bullet points, proposals for landscaping standards. Then came emails, then voicemails, a whole campaign ramping up like they'd mistaken me for someone who cared about bulletins and block parties. I ignored all of it, figured they'd get bored. But that's not how these folks work. Bureaucrats will drop it if you ignore them. Parasites in polos just double down. One Thursday, I come back from town with diesel, some spare parts, and a bucket of beef jerky, and I see bright orange stakes in the ground. Fluorescent paint sprayed across my trail right into the edge of my land. Preliminary line markings with a laminated placard that said Survey Zone North Hollow Service Expansion. For a second, I just stood there chewing jerky, watching the wind flap their sign like it hadn't just started a war. Then I went back to the truck, launched my drone, and started filming. I logged every inch, reading out the coordinates. Unauthorized encroachment violation of state trespass laws will escalate if repeated. That night, I sent the footage and a formal complaint to the Pine Creek Land Use Commission, certified mail. I included a line, "If your department is aware of this, investigate now. If not, you are now informed that an HOA is attempting to redraw jurisdictional boundaries without legal authority." Then I wrote a letter to their president, Karen Glazer. "You do not own my land. You will not set foot on my land. Cross that line again, and I'll consider it an attempted illegal acquisition. I will respond accordingly." Didn't sleep that night, not out of fear, but because something old in me snapped awake. That part of my brain that remembers standing post at 3 a.m. waiting for shadows to move. I built this place for freedom. Now I had to defend it. 2 days later, I get a voicemail from some guy named Logan, Director of Infrastructure, North Hollow Estates. His voice is like somebody who practices smiling in the mirror. Mr. Reeves just following up those recent markings were preliminary. Broader community enhancement plan. We'd love to have a conversation at your convenience. Deleted. Blocked. Folks like that think silence is permission. They don't know Marines. So I moved my trail cams closer to the driveway, put up new signs, private property, no entry, surveillance active. Beneath that, in big red paint, trespassers will meet the owner. The next morning, I'm sitting on my porch with a coffee and I see a white pickup roll up. Cleanest truck I ever saw, not a scratch, never hauled a thing in its life. Two guys get out both wearing matching black polos with NH Community Relations on the chest. Clipboard body cam. Not cops, just HOA muscle. They walked right up to my gate, not the public road, not the easement, my gate, my land. I pulled up in my own truck, window down. Clipboard guy waves like we're buddies. Morning, Mr. Reeves, hoping to speak with you directly. I just stared. You've succeeded, I said. Now please leave. He held up a folio of papers. Boundary clarification documents, revised memorandum from the board. We'd like to walk you through a few things. Start walking, I said, away from my gate. Camera guy just filmed, maybe thought I'd lose my temper and give him some viral HOA outrage moment. Joke's on them. I had my own dash cam rolling. Clipboard cleared his throat, started in about peripheral parcels, environmental channels. That's when it hit me. They weren't just marking territory. They were gearing up to bury me in red tape. Erosion claims, drainage violations, anything vague enough to throw at the wall. I leaned out, tapped my dash cam. You're on private property. You have 60 seconds to leave. Activities have been reported. Clipboard just smiled. We're not here to threaten you, just to resolve confusion. You crossed 30 feet into my land. That's not confusion. That's invasion. I hit a switch. My pre-recorded warning blasted from the speakers. You are trespassing on private property. You are being recorded. Leave immediately or law enforcement will be dispatched. Camera guy shifted a little, but they still stood there, statues in the sun, pretending they had the legal high ground. I wasn't about to put on a show. I just sat in my truck radio on engine running, waited. After 40 minutes, Clipboard started pacing, peering at my fence line, maybe looking for violations. At one point, he grinned right at my camera, and that's when I made a call. I don't keep a lawyer on speed dial, but I have something better. 4 of them, all Marines, all with tempers and time. I sent a photo of the clowns outside my gate to the group chat. One texted back, on the way. By noon, the gravel's baking. Clipboard sweating, camera guys sitting on the ground pretending he's filming the ants. I've seen better intimidation from teenage mall cops. Then the boys show up, green Tacoma with zip-tied plates, dented doors. Derek's 6'4" arms like logs. Shane sunglasses and a nose you know got busted for a good cause. Miguel sunflower seeds and boots unlaced. And Sam, the one who doesn't talk, just stares right through you. They lined up by my truck arms, folded 4 walls of try something. I rolled my window all the way down. Gentlemen, you're just in time for the Q&A session. Derek grinned. Shane cracked his knuckles. Clipboard's eyes got big. Camera guy scrambled to his feet. Afternoon, Derek said, stepping between them and the gate. Are you the ones trying to talk our friend out of his land? We're just here to discuss. No, you're trespassing and fishing for leverage. Shane cut in. Camera guy raised his phone and Derek knocked it right out of his hand, skittered across the gravel like a roach in daylight. That's assault. Nope. Derek shrugged. That's de-escalation. Miguel took the folio, flipped through it. Guys, these are fake county memos. Look at the font word template. Sam, meanwhile, just twisted camera guy's arm up behind his back and pressed him into the hood. Clipboard started to protest. Sam growled, keep talking and you'll be joining him. I finally stepped out, stretched, felt the dust and heat. You still want to have that conversation, I asked? Because now you're talking to my legal team. Clipboard just stared. Shane already had the sheriff on the phone. We waited. 15 minutes of that special Colorado silence you only get when something's about to go real bad or real good. Finally, brown and white sheriff's SUV rolls up. Sheriff Lawson, granite face hat like a warning sign. He takes it all in: 4 Marines, 2 trespassers, fake documents on the hood. Somebody want to explain why I was told to bring restraints? Shane steps up, lays it out. Trespassing, fake documents, intimidation, all caught on camera. Lawson scans the documents, spots a signature. Charles Denning, retired 5 years ago, raises goats in Idaho now. Sam already ran background on body cam guy. Turns out he's barred from security work in New Mexico. Sheriff shakes his head. So you two trespassed, presented fake docs, tried to bluff your way into someone else's land. Clipboard opens his mouth. Sheriff cuts him off. Unless you're reciting Miranda to yourself, don't bother. Deputies cuff them, load them in the cars. Lawson turns to me. You pressing charges? Absolutely. Trespassing, fraud, harassment. I want the Land Use Commission to see it. You'll have a hell of a case, he said, and probably some friends on the county board. This isn't the first border they've tried to push. That night I get a full incident report from the sheriff. Miguel helps me format my statement like a field brief, every photo, every GPS tag. Within 48 hours, I have a docket number and notice HOA and President Karen Glazer are under investigation for extrajurisdictional expansion. Next, I get a letter from some Denver law firm, disproportionate response, excessive use of force, blah, blah. My favorite line: our client holds a legal interest in the long-term stabilization of neighborhood boundaries. Translation: we still think your land is up for grabs. But the real fun. The Pine Creek Ledger runs an article: HOA reps arrested after alleged attempt to seize private land. Screenshots everywhere, clipboard red-faced my gate sign in full view, private property, military veterans on duty, trespassers will not be warned again. Couple days later, Lawson stops by, hands me copies of the fake docs, notary stamp, forged address belonged to a realtor who left a year ago, Denning's signature stolen off an old park budget. I ask what's next. Depends how far they want to push it, but this smells like a bluff gone bad. Too bad I'm not a fish, I say. Too bad for them, he agrees. I file my own civil suit. Lorraine Masters, my lawyer, draws it up like a war plan: trespass, fraud, coercion, harassment, plus a request for injunction. Court sets a date, we walk in ready. Across from me, Karen Glazer in the flesh. Every inch the stereotype pearl necklace and hair helmet. The Judge Rollins listens to both sides, watches our video. He's unimpressed. He grants the injunction: no HOA board member within 100 feet of my line or they'll answer to the sheriff. Word spreads fast. Facebook, local papers, even the Denver Morning News. The video of Karen stone-faced while the judge reads attempted coercion via fraudulent representation goes viral. Ethics Board opens an investigation. Turns out, the HOA pulled the same forged memo stunt on 2 other properties. One of their own contractors turns whistleblower, swears under oath they were told to plant stakes for future expansion, ignore any pushback. Karen Glazer resigns for health reasons. Bodycam guy loses his real estate license, never bluff, legal authority in Colorado. Lorraine files for damages, Land Use Commission sides with me. Sheriff's report backs it all up. We add a new sign at the gate: private land. Military vets on duty. HOA free zone. Underneath a little American flag stitched by hand. One morning I spot an old man in a flannel at my fence, cardboard box in hand. Name's Doug. Used to be on the board. We voted to dissolve the External Affairs Committee. This never should have happened. Inside the box, a bottle of bourbon, a wooden plaque: live and let live. I nodded, took the gift, didn't say much. Sometimes silence is the only answer left. That weekend the boys came by. We grilled elk steaks, drank, laughed too loud, and as the sun set, we added a final touch to the gate sign. A little badge: retired but still watching. Karen's gone. I'm still here. 14 acres of quiet cameras, never sleeping, and not a single neighbor telling me how to live. Now you tell me, what would you have done? Would you fight for your line or let him move the fence? Ever dealt with a bully in a suit or a board that just wouldn't quit? Drop your thoughts below, share your story. Tell me what justice looks like to you. And if you know someone who's been steamrolled by community improvement, send them this. Around here, we don't back down, and we sure as hell don't hand over what's ours.